Hello, friends. Cowboy Jobu here at the Jobu Report, and as always, thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Report. And if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to click over here on the picture of me and Sean Lee. You know, the Pro Bowl snub. I'm talking to you, NFL. Now, unfortunately, I have some bad news to report. I think we're going to have sanctions from the NFL against the Dallas Cowboys because they've had an unfair advantage. That's right. Because of all the talking heads out there always giving the Dallas Cowboys advice, you gotta say they have an unfair advantage because they're not helping out any of the other teams. So let's go to the tape and see what they have to say about Tony Romo
We talked about whether or not the Cowboys should play Tony Romo on Sunday. At first, it looked as though their third-string quarterback, Mark Sanchez, would get a majority of the snaps. But according to ESPN's Adam Schefter and Todd Archer, Romo is expected to play. How much? We aren't exactly sure, but this will mark his first time under center in over a year. Now, in terms of who will start, the rookie Dak Prescott will get the go, but right now it looks like all three QBs are going to get some action. So the question we pose, is the Cowboys' Week 17 QB plan smart or dumb? Donovan, let's go to you first.
You know, I think it's a smart move. I think when you look at the situation going into the playoffs, it's about momentum. And for a football team, which we know they rely on the running game heavily, you want your quarterback to stay in rhythm. Chemistry is very important of what they've established with he and Dez Bryant, with obviously Jason Witten, who probably will sit out this particular game, Terrence Williams, and then also Bryce Butler. But you want your quarterback going into playoff play with a bye week to be able to keep things going at elite level. Now, the smart deal, I think, for them is the fact I think they will start Tony Romo. And why not start Tony Romo to kick off the rust against the Philadelphia Eagles? We know playing in Philadelphia, it's a tough task for a guy like Tony Romo because he was hurt in Philadelphia. So give him an opportunity not only to kick the rust off, but to regain that confidence that they need their backup quarterback to have in playoff play. Now, when you look at this overall football team, I think the injury last week is very important, something that they not really are trying to gloss over, and that's the Tyron Smith injury to the knee. And I think if he's able to get back at least at 90% going into that first playoff game, I think now that helps this offense out. But if he's banged up, that could be one that I think we will talk about all throughout the playoffs. Defensively, they really need to keep every player out there because to me, without Rob Marinelli blitzing on the defensive end, they're going to have to find ways to draw up pressure, to take pressure off of this offense in which we've seen continue to rise each and every week. But as far as the decision-making is concerned, I got to give kudos to Jason Garrett as well as to Jerry Jones.
Just to clarify here, Coach, did you say start Romo? Did he say start Romo?
I did. No. Prescott and be able to play Romo in this particular game.
Well, we're clarified. He did say start Tony Romo, but it's okay. It's early in Arizona. It's early in Arizona. I will say this, because I like to answer the question. I like to stay on point. You know me, I don't like to veer too much. This is so dumb. And I said on Monday or Tuesday when I started dominating this entire week here on First Take, thank you, Stephen A. I said that if Tony Romo was going to play, because he's a veteran, there's going to be ring rust, so to speak. However, he understands what it's like to play. We also know Tony Romo is very, very injury prone. If you're going to play him, it's going to be last week. It's going to be last week. You start Dak for a couple of reasons. A, you only have 46 guys that are dressing, so you're going to have to start most of the starters anyway. Plus, there's a little record that's up for grabs here. Dak's already tied Big Ben for the most wins by a rookie quarterback. If he doesn't start, which he's going to, then he doesn't get credit for that win. You bring Dak in and you play him for the half. Here's where Jason Garrett and Jerry Jones are trying to get a little bit too cute. They're saying, so we're going to play Mark Sanchez for the third quarter potentially, and then bring, Tony Romo in to break a sweat in the fourth quarter? If you're not going to bring Tony Romo in for significant playing time, you don't play him at all. Because if somebody gets hurt, I'm okay if it's Mark Sanchez. I'm not okay if it is Tony Romo when I need this guy to back up a guy that probably won't get hurt, but you never know. For me, this is dumb.
You know, I really never should have doubted Jerry. I really never should have doubted Jason Garrett.
Goodness.
I mean,
I know, Donovan.
a little earlier in the week, I could find no justification for the decisions they were making regarding this quarterback situation because the debate isn't whether or not Dak starts. We all agree, even though Donovan said Tony Romo starts. You meant Dak. You meant Dak starts the game. The question then becomes, Tony Romo versus Mark Sanchez, right? That's the debate we got to have. And earlier in the week, it looked like Sanchez was the guy they were picking. Sanchez was the guy getting the reps. Sanchez was the guy they were going to activate. And, of course, I can find no justification for that. But what it turns out is, no. Cowboys are being geniuses again. Jerry's being a genius.
Oh, my gosh.
They played this quarterback situation right the entire year. Why would they make a mistake now? You don't know that they're going to put Tony Romo in the fourth quarter. I agree, by the way, Coach. That'd be a mistake. You don't bring Tony in and put him in the fourth. You put him in the third. Right. You put him behind starters on the offensive line. You knock the rust off. And I suspect that's exactly what they're going to do. If it's a fourth quarter thing and Sanchez gets the third, I can't find any defense of that. No defense of that.
Donovan, real quick, because I know I didn't get very much sleep, but I think I just heard Will Kane say Jerry Jones is a genius again. As if he's ever been a genius.
I heard that again.
Right? When was he a genius in the first place?
Well, wait a minute, like he jumped on me. Is that what you meant, or did you mean you not agreeing with Jerry Jones? Well, since you jumped on me early.
well, I agree. Jerry Jones is a genius. When you guys get a couple more zeros behind your name, then you can start criticizing billionaires on their genius. Until then, we're going to defer to the guy with the B in his net worth, okay? And then on the football decisions, from start, this entire season, this quarterback situation has been handled perfectly by Jerry / Jason.
Goodness gracious.
What's the mistake, Donovan? What mistake was made this year?
First of all, I can't believe that you said it was handled perfectly when every week we were talking about how Tony Romo was doing at practice instead of focusing on your starting quarterback. Listen, if we're going to go into this whole deal of who's going to start and who's going to play, Dak Prescott should play 2 series in this particular game, and then you bring Tony Romo in. You want Tony Romo with the first offensive line, because if he's out there with the second or third offensive line, really, what backup quarterback that's been in the league over 5 to 10 years wants to be out there with a second or third line, who we know probably shouldn't even be out there? So why am I trying to be the scrambling quarterback at 35, 36 years old with a shoulder and a back problem to be out here with these guys? So I think the smart thing to do is to start Dak Prescott, let him play 2 series, hand the ball off to McFadden 6 times, and get off the field, and then bring Tony Romo in. Now, Mark Sanchez has been in this offense all year. Yeah, give him an opportunity to play a half or 3 quarters or so. Because really, to be honest with you, guys on the Dallas Cowboys don't really even want to see Tony out there. But the fact that he needs these reps to kind of get his confidence back, because I can tell you one thing, for a veteran quarterback who either has been benched or he's sitting watching somebody else play his position, it sucks. I'm telling you, for Tony, you look at it on the sideline, look at his face. He's looking like, why am I even here? Like, this is disrespectful to me, and I don't want to be here. So now give him an opportunity, feel like he's a starter again, to get something done, to go out there, complete 4 or 6 passes, and then get off the field and say, you know what, I still got it.
Donovan, let me ask you this, because I think it's very important when you talk about getting ready for game action. How hard is it when it looks like, as you just mentioned, Tony Romo doesn't really want to be there? When you get ready for a game day and you're a starter, you got that adrenaline going. Night before, you're fired up. You get up, you know what your pregame is going to look like. How hard would it be for Tony Romo, who hasn't had that adrenaline for a year, to get it going for this particular game?
Well, for this particular game, I think the way there's a lot of discussion going on with Jason Garrett and I think Scott Linehan. I think what you'll see Tony get back to his old rapport. I think he'll get Dez Bryant and Terrence Williams, and probably he'll have Jason Witten, guys out there running routes so that he can get warmed up and get ready before the game, just as if he was a starter. Now, that's something Dak Prescott now built up with the rest of those guys, and he'll get a majority of the reps. So now, for Tony Romo, you can get back mentally of saying, you know what? This is an opportunity not only for me to show that I can still play for the Dallas Cowboys, but this is for me to audition for other teams out there who need quarterbacks. So I'm looking for this opportunity. I guarantee once things get rolling for him out there in that football field, he'll ask Jason Garrett to stay out there, maybe through the middle of the third and possibly the fourth, so that he can continue to show and improve.
Just weeding through the opinions here, the vast forest of opinions, it's clear to me that when it comes to the management of this game, the 3 of us largely agree on how it should play out. It should start out with Dak, then go to Tony, then go to Sanchez.
No.
Okay, you're the exception? You're the exception?
Well, there's only 3 of us here. So that would be like 33% of the table.
You held an opinion from what I could gather and then contradicted it yourself with the Tony should play for with the first team offense, just like Donovan and I
Tony
both
Romo shouldn't play at all. Why don't you listen and
indefensible
focus and lay?
I am okay. Tony Romo shouldn't play at all.
Will, did you get some sleep last night?
It's
I feel like he might have gotten more sleep than all of us, too, actually. I was out.
Yeah,
I was
That's
out.
what's going on. Now back to the point at hand, which I really wanted to get to with you, Donovan, whether or not the Cowboys have handled this quarterback situation perfectly throughout this year. You pointed the fact that people on shows like, say, First Take have been talking about Tony Romo throughout the season. Tell me what the cost of that has been to the Dallas Cowboys. Tell me how that's had a detrimental effect on the Dallas Cowboys, because at 13-2, I can't see that it's had any big impact. In fact, one could suggest it might have even had a positive impact because, well, to be honest, you can't find any negative impacts when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up.
One last point. This is what the Cowboys did, to be clear, and this is why Jerry was a genius. He left his options open as long as he could. He had a $100 million franchise quarterback on the bench, and as long as there was the slightest bit of doubt that that's the guy that should be playing, he held on to that possibility until it was perfectly clear that a rookie could win at Lambeau and win at Hines and win 14 points down and win in the playoffs. That, my friend, is why it was
last
perfect.
point,
First of all, Will, what does Lambeau and what does Heinz Field have to do with anything? First of all, you have a quarterback who's consistently hurt. How about taking pressure off of Tony Romo to give him an opportunity to rehab and get himself back, and then also provide a little confidence for your rookie quarterback. When you have a rookie quarterback and a rookie running back, the first thing they need in their first year while having success is a little bit of confidence and a little bit of humble pie. Now, why do I have to go into a game, throw for 300 yards, complete 85% of my passes with 3 touchdowns and 1 rushing, and come in the locker room and hear you talk about how Tony Romo looks at practice? How about maybe giving me a high five and say, hey, great job, kid, look forward to next week, and say it in the media? The one that's been kind of hiding up under the table throughout the whole season is Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett could have easily put the kibosh on things by saying, we're going to go as far as Dak Prescott takes us, and when Tony Romo is ready, then he will rejoin the team. Now, let's go back to Heinz Field. I believe I heard reports about Tony Romo flying with Jerry Jones to the game and stand on the sideline with the boo-boo face while Dak Prescott was playing well.
Donovan, Coach likes your points. He thinks you're getting high fives in the version here, but here's the thing about your theories are not wrong. They're just not working out in reality.
Wow.
All right, let's
cut it out, Will.
Cowboys
Let's
people,
wrap
you
this.
rein him
They
in,
keep
please. Winning. Dak keeps getting better. Jerry doesn't seem to be hurting anything.
Hey, Will,
Winning cures everything.
All right.
somebody tell Will and TV rap means stop talking.
Well, that's the essence of this show, right? When things are on fire, like you
got
just got to
something
keep
to say.
rolling with it.